You have probably seen the big number. Someone online says the maximum CPP in 2026 is just over $1,500 a month. Add old age security on top, and you are pushing past $2,000. It sounds like a comfortable floor under your retirement. So people do the quick math and quietly build their plans around it. Here is the catch. Almost nobody actually gets that maximum. The real check that lands in most Canadian bank accounts is hundreds of dollars smaller than the headline. Today, we find out what really shows up, using one couple as our guide. Say hello to Brian and Donna. They live in Ontario, they have been married for 36 years, and they both turn 65 in 2026. Same kitchen, same retirement date. Brian worked full-time for most of his career, earning close to the government ceiling almost every year. Donna's path looked different. She took several years out of the workforce to raise their kids, then came back part-time. That one difference, the years Donna spent at home, changes everything about their two checks. Their numbers tell two very different stories. Let us follow both. Let us start where most people start, with that maximum CPP figure. In 2026, the most you can collect from CPP at 65 is just over $1,500 a month. That is the number the headlines love. It is real, and it is also rare. Now look at what people actually receive. The average new CPP check for someone starting at 65 sits closer to $900 a month. That is a gap of roughly $600 every single month between the dream number and the typical one. So why the distance? It comes down to how CPP is built. Think of CPP as your own money handed back to you in retirement. Every working year, a slice comes off your paycheck for the Canada Pension Plan, and your employer quietly matches it. If you are self-employed, you cover both halves yourself. That money goes into the national plan and gets invested over decades. When you retire, CPP pays you a monthly pension for the rest of your life, adjusted upward for inflation each year. It never runs out, and it never gets cancelled. The size of your check depends on a simple thing: how much you paid in, and for how long. Here is the part the headlines skip. To collect the maximum CPP, you have to earn at or above the government's income ceiling for almost your whole working life. In 2026, that ceiling sits around $74,600, and you cannot just hit it once. You need to hit it for roughly 39 or 40 years. Think about how rare that really is. A stretch of unemployment pulls your average down. So do a few lower earning years early on, or time spent at home with kids. Most lives have at least one of those dips, so most checks land below the maximum. So where does Brian land? Brian is about as close to the ideal as real people get. He earned near the ceiling for most of his career, and he rarely missed a year. If anyone is going to approach the maximum, it is him. And yet, even Brian comes in a touch under the top number. After a couple of leaner early years, his CPP works out to around $1,400 a month. That is strong and well above average. It is also still short of the full $1,500 from the brochure. That is the honest ceiling for a near-perfect career. Now watch what happens with Donna. Donna's CPP check is smaller, and there is a clear reason. For about 7 years, she was at home raising their children. During those years, she earned little or nothing, so little or nothing went into CPP under her name. After that, she returned part-time, which kept her contributions modest for a long stretch. CPP looks at your earnings across your whole adult life. Long gaps and part-time years pull that lifetime average down. When you average in 7 near 0 years, the pension drops with them. On paper, Donna's CPP comes out around $600 a month, less than half of Brian's. But the story does not end there. Here is something most people have never heard of, and it works in Donna's favor. CPP has a child-rearing provision. When you were the main caregiver for a child under 7, those low-earning or no-earning years can be lifted out of your lifetime average. The plan essentially agrees not to punish you for raising kids. For Donna, that means her 7 years at home do not all drag her pension down the way they otherwise would. The provision quietly lifts her check back up by a meaningful amount. You do have to claim it when you apply. It is not always applied automatically, so it is worth asking about by name. CPP is only half the picture. Now we add old age security. OAS works in a completely different way. It has nothing to do with how much you earned or paid in. It is based on how long you have lived in Canada as an adult. You can have never worked a day and still collect it. In early 2026, the full OAS pension is about $740 a month for someone aged 65 to 74. Once you turn 75, it bumps up to around $816 a month. For Brian and Donna, this part is identical. Same check, side by side. OAS does come with one big condition, and it is about time, not money. To get the full amount, you generally need 40 years of living in Canada after the age of 18. Hit that, and you receive the complete pension. If you arrived later or spent long stretches abroad, you can still qualify with at least 10 years here, but you collect a partial amount scaled to the years you have. 20 years of residency, for example, gets you roughly half. Brian and Donna have both lived here their whole adult lives, so they each clear the 40-year mark easily. Full OAS for both of them. Now a warning for higher-income retirees, because OAS has a tripwire. It is officially called the OAS recovery tax, and most people just call it the clawback. Once your net income in retirement climbs above roughly $95,000 in 2026, the government starts taking OAS back. For every dollar over that line, you lose 15 cents of your pension. Earn high enough, somewhere past $150,000, and your OAS can vanish entirely. For Brian and Donna, this is not a worry. Their retirement income sits comfortably below the line, but if you have a large pension or big withdrawals planned, keep this threshold on your radar. So far, most of these numbers were set years ago by how Brian and Donna lived and worked. They cannot rewrite their history. But there is one lever still in their hands, and it might be the most powerful one of all. It is the question of when to start. You do not have to take CPP and OAS at 65. You can start CPP as early as 60 or wait as late as 70. The age you choose can swing your check by thousands of dollars a year for the rest of your life. This next part is the one to send to your spouse. Let us break it down. Here is the whole timing decision in one simple picture. Start CPP early at 60, and your check shrinks. It drops by 0.6% for every month you go before 65. Wait until your 65th birthday instead, and you get your full calculated amount, no penalty. Now push the other direction. Delay past 65, and your check grows by 0.7% for every month you wait. Picture the same person, same contributions. At 60, they might get $640 a month. Wait to 65, and it is $1,000. Hold to 70, and it climbs to $1,420. Same life, very different checks. Let us sit with the early option, because it is tempting. Taking CPP at 60 feels great. The money starts 5 years sooner, and you are still young enough to enjoy it. Plenty of people do exactly this, and for some, it is the right call, especially if your health is uncertain or you need the income now. But understand the cost. Starting at 60 lakhs in the full reduction, which adds up to 36% less permanently. That smaller check does not bounce back at 65. You carry the lower amount for the rest of your life. It is a real trade. Money now against more money later. Now the other end of the dial. If you can hold off and start CPP at 70, the plan rewards you generously. Your check grows by 42% above your 65 amount. That higher payment is locked in for life and still rises with inflation every year after. For someone in good health, with savings to bridge the gap, waiting can be one of the safest returns available anywhere. No market risk, just a bigger guaranteed check for as long as you live. The catch is obvious. You need a way to pay the bills during those waiting years, whether from savings or from staying on at work a little longer. Most people forget that OAS has its own delay button. Just like CPP, you can wait on old age security past 65. For every month you defer it, OAS grows by 0.6%, up to a maximum of 36% more if you hold out until 70. So the same retiree who delays both pensions to 70 ends up with two bigger checks stacked together, both topped up, both for life. There is one place delay does not help. You cannot start OAS before 65, no matter what. Early take-up is a CPP-only option. With OAS, your choice is simply how long to wait. So, what should our couple do? Brian is healthy, and they have savings to lean on. For him, waiting a few years past 65 makes real sense. Every month he delays grows a check he is likely to collect for a long time, given his family history. Donna's situation points a different way. Her CPP is smaller to begin with, and she would rather have her own income flowing sooner. Starting hers at 65, or even a little early, fits her comfort better. There is no single right answer for a household. The best plan often has two spouses starting at two different ages, on purpose. Let us pause for the retirees this video has not yet served, the ones living on a tight income. There is a third benefit on top of OAS called the Guaranteed Income Supplement, or GIS. It is built specifically for seniors with little or no income beyond their pensions, and it is money you never pay back. In early 2026, a single senior with very low income can receive up to roughly $1,100 a month in GIS on top of their OAS. If money is tight in retirement, this is one to look into carefully. Far too many eligible seniors never claim it. Now, GIS comes with a real limit. It is income tested, which means the more other income you have, the less GIS you receive. As your income from CPP and savings rises, the supplement shrinks and eventually disappears. A single senior generally stops qualifying once their income climbs past the low 20,000s, not counting OAS itself. For Brian and Donna, this means GIS is off the table. Between Brian's strong CPP and their savings, they earn well above the cutoff. That is a good problem to have. But knowing GIS exists matters for the wider family. A widowed parent or a low-income friend might be leaving real money unclaimed. So let us add it all up for Brian and Donna at 65. Brian brings in around $1,400 a month from CPP, plus about $740 from OAS. That is roughly $2,140. Donna brings in around $600 from CPP, helped by that child-rearing provision, plus her own $740 from OAS. Call it $1,340. Together, their guaranteed government income lands near $3,500 a month. Across a year, that is somewhere around $42,000, indexed to inflation and paid for as long as they live. That is a genuinely solid base. Now the honest part, $3,500 a month is real money. It is also not the whole story. Brian and Donna's home costs, groceries, car, and the occasional trip to see the grandkids add up to more than their pensions cover. Like most couples, they want retirement to feel like more than just paying the bills. That gap between what the government provides and the life they actually want is the part they fill themselves. It comes from the RRSP Brian built at work and the TFSA they have been feeding for years. CPP and OAS carry the base. Their own savings carry the comfort on top. Here is the honest way to think about all of this. CPP and OAS were never designed to fund your entire retirement. They were built to be a reliable floor under your feet, a base that never runs out and rises with inflation, no matter how long you live or how the markets behave. That floor is worth a great deal. For Brian and Donna, it covers the essentials and takes the fear out of growing old. What it does not do is buy the whole house on its own. Knowing that early is a gift. It tells you exactly how much of the rest is up to you. So before you plan around the headline maximum, go find your actual number. Sign in to your My Service Canada account online. Inside, you can pull your CPP Statement of Contributions, which shows exactly what you have paid in and estimates your check at every start age from 60 to 70. Look it up, then sit down with your partner the way Brian and Donna did. The number might surprise you in either direction. Better to know now, while you still have choices in front of you. If this helped, subscribe to Loonie Logic. We will keep making sense of your money, one real number at a time.